Meet Alex. Alex did everything the world told him to do. He studied until his eyes bled. He landed the STEM degree. He secured the high-prestige tech job. And today, in 2026, he officially makes $150,000 a year. In almost any other decade in human history, Alex would be considered rich. He'd have the house with the wraparound porch, 2 cars in the driveway, and enough left over to never look at the price of a steak dinner. But right now, Alex is sitting in a $3,500 a month luxury glass box, staring at a Zillow notification for a fixer-upper that just listed for $580,000. He checks his bank account. After taxes, student loans, and his high earner cost of living, he realizes something terrifying. He's broke. Well, he's qualified broke. The data confirms a reality that most people aren't ready to hear. In 2026, earning $150,000, an income in the top 10%, mathematically provides you with less purchasing power for a home than a minimum wage worker had in 1970. Think about that for a second. The person flipping burgers 50 years ago had more house buying power than the software engineer does today. If you feel like you're winning the career game but losing the life game, I have something to tell you. You aren't living beyond your means. The means have been moved behind a paywall. Today, we're going to look at why $150,000 is the new $50,000. We're going to look at the lifestyle extraction machine designed to drain you dry. And more importantly, we're going to find out if the American dream is actually dead, or if it's just been rebranded as a luxury subscription service that you can't afford. Stick around, because the math we're about to do is brutal. To understand why Alex is struggling, we have to stop looking at the numbers and start looking at the weight of the numbers. History proves that for decades, the middle class was defined by a simple ratio. You made a salary, and a starter home cost about 3 times that salary. In 1990, if you made $45,000, you could buy a decent house for $135,000. It was simple math. It was common sense. But in 2026, common sense has become a liability. Actually, it's a trap. Observe what happened. While salaries for high achievers like Alex have gone up, the entry fee for a basic life has decoupled from reality. In most major U.S. cities right now, that same $135,000 house does not exist. Wait, it gets worse. Alex makes $150K. That sounds like a lot, until you realize that in 2026, the middle class doesn't even start until you hit $250,000 in household income. Here's the thing. We've been gaslit into believing that if we just work harder or get one more promotion, we'll finally catch up. But you can't outrun a system that is designed to move the finish line every time you take a step. The pattern is clear. We are living through the middle class extinction. The gap between making 6 figures and being wealthy has never been wider. In the old world, a 6-figure salary was the destination. In 2026, it's just the cost of admission to stay in the race. If you're earning $150K and you feel like you're barely treading water, realize this: you aren't failing. You're just playing a game where the rules were changed while you were sleeping. The reality is that houses are no longer homes. They are speculative assets, owned by institutions, and you are being forced to bid against billions of dollars of Wall Street capital with your little $150,000 paycheck. It's like bringing a toothpick to a tank fight. And yet, we keep wondering why we feel so tired. We feel tired because we're trying to buy a 2026 lifestyle with a 1990 mindset. And the math simply doesn't add up anymore. So, Who is the enemy here? Is it just inflation? Not quite. The real enemy is something I call the lifestyle extraction machine. See, modern cities and services in 2026 are specifically designed to tax high earners through predatory convenience. Think about Alex's day. He's a high performer, so he's busy. And because he's busy, he doesn't have time to grocery shop or cook. So he uses a delivery app. That's a $15 meal plus a $5 delivery fee plus a $4 service fee plus a $6 tip. That $15 salad just became a $30 expense. Well, you might say, Alex should just cook. But here's the trap. Alex's job demands 60 hours a week because that's what it takes to earn $150K in 2026. The system extracts his time and then sells it back to him at a premium through convenience. It's an efficiency tax, and it's everywhere. It's in the premium rent he pays to live 15 minutes closer to the office. It's in the tiered interest rates on his premium credit cards. It's in the subscription models for everything, from his gym to his car's heated seats. The specific enemy isn't just a high price tag. It's the way the economy has become efficient at extracting every spare dollar until your net savings are zero. Admit it. You've felt this. You get a $10,000 bonus, and by the end of the month, it's just gone. A maintenance issue here, a price adjustment there, a service renewal you forgot about. The system is designed to keep you in a state of qualified poverty. You have the nice car, the nice clothes, and the high-status job title, but you have no equity. You have no exit money. You are a pass-through account for corporations. The money enters your bank account, and within 48 hours, it has been distributed to your landlord, your lenders, and your delivery apps. You are the middleman in your own life. And the physical stress of this is real. Alex sits in his luxury apartment, looking at his high salary on a screen, and feels a crushing weight in his chest, because he knows that if he stops running for even 1 month, the whole thing collapses. That's not wealth. That's a high-speed treadmill with no stop button. Let's talk about financial physics. Specifically, I want to introduce you to a concept I call the horizon line. In a normal economy, your career is supposed to be a staircase. You climb a step, you get closer to the goal. But for the 2026 Henry, the high earner not rich yet, the economy behaves like a horizon. No matter how fast Alex runs, the American dream of home ownership stays the exact same distance away. Here's how the physics of the horizon line works. Every time Alex works late, hits his KPIs, and secures a $10,000 raise, the market adjusts. The sellers in his neighborhood see that people like Alex are making more, so they raise the asking prices. The banks see the demand, so they adjust the interest rates or the required down payment. The data confirms that in the last 3 years, for every $1 Alex has added to his annual salary, the average price of an entry-level home has increased by $1.50 in mortgage carrying cost. He is literally running backward while sprinting forward. This is what I call the treadmill of sand. Most financial gurus will tell you to save 20%, but let's do the math for 2026. If a house is $500,000, Alex needs $100,000 for a down payment. Alex saves $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. It will take him 4 years to save that $100K. But in 4 years, at a modest 5% appreciation, that $500,000 house now costs $607,000. Now he needs $121,000 for the down payment. He's still short. He's more short than when he started. This isn't a lack of discipline, it's gravity. Realize this. The horizon line exists because we have turned housing from a human necessity into a global financial instrument. When you go to buy a house, you aren't bidding against another family. You are bidding against the horizon. You are bidding against the collective desire of the entire financial system to ensure that assets never get cheaper. For Alex, $150K isn't a great salary. It's just the minimum speed required to keep the horizon line from swallowing him whole. The moment he slows down, the moment he takes a lower-paying job he actually enjoys, the horizon disappears. This is why you feel like you can't breathe, because in the financial physics of 2026, standing still is the same thing as falling off a cliff. Let's look at a case study of what I call the promotion paradox. Last year, Alex had his best year ever. He was earning $130,000. He worked weekends, he took on the projects nobody else wanted, and finally, he got the big one, the senior title, the $150,000 salary, a $20,000 jump. Alex sat at his desk and did the rich person math. 20,000 divided by 12, that's an extra $1,600 a month. I can finally start that house fund. I can finally breathe. But let's watch what actually happened to Alex's $20,000 in the real world of 2026. First, the tax man stepped in. Because that $20K put him into a higher effective tax bracket, he only saw about $12,000 of it in his take-home pay, down to $1,000 a month. Then his landlord sent a letter. Market adjustment. His rent went up $300 a month, down to $700. Then his high earner social circle changed. To keep up the senior image, he felt pressured to go to the $200 networking dinners. His professional wardrobe needed an upgrade, down to $400. Then inflation hit his basics. His specialized health insurance went up. His grocery bill for the same organic food went up. By the end of the year, Alex looked at his savings account. He had saved exactly $0 more than he did when he made $130. Actually, he felt poorer. Why? Because his expectations had risen, but his equity hadn't. This is the story of the modern professional. We are told that the solution to our financial stress is more income, more hustle, more titles. But in a system of lifestyle extraction, more is just more fuel for the machine. Alex did everything right. He won the game. He climbed the mountain labeled 6 figures. But when he got to the top, he didn't find a meadow. He found a much taller mountain labeled home ownership, growing right out of the ground in front of him. He realized that his $150K salary wasn't a ladder. It was just a longer leash. He was still tied to the same stake. He just had a slightly larger circle to walk in. If this sounds like your life, I want you to look at Alex's face right now. He's not angry yet. He's just confused. He's asking himself, if I'm doing everything right, why does it feel so wrong? Now, I have to tell you the ugly side of the solution. The part that most finance YouTubers won't tell you. Because it's not fun to hear. The hard truth is this. 99% of you watching this, even the high earners, will still fail to buy that $500,000 house. And it's not because you aren't smart. It's because you are suffering from a disease called the ego of the qualified. Here's the truth bomb. Because Alex makes $150K, his ego tells him he deserves a $150K lifestyle. He thinks, I'm a senior engineer. I shouldn't have to live with roommates. I shouldn't have to drive a 10-year-old Toyota. I shouldn't have to eat beans and rice. But in 2026, the math is clear. If you want to own an asset in a world of institutional buyers, you have to live like you make $60,000 while earning $150,000. You have to commit social suicide. Most people won't do it. They would rather look like they are winning and actually be broke than look like they are losing and actually be wealthy. The system counts on your ego. The lifestyle extraction machine only works if you agree to play the part of the successful professional. The moment you stop caring about the luxury apartment, the moment you stop buying the $28 salads, the moment you decide that your status is less important than your solvency, the machine loses its power. But that's a brutal path. It means telling your friends you can't go on the Vegas trip. It means being the rich guy who lives in a poor neighborhood. It means admitting that your $150K salary is a lie. Here's the cognitive dissonance. You worked so hard to get the degree and the job specifically so you wouldn't have to live like a college student anymore. And now, I'm telling you that living like a college student is the only way to actually keep what you earn. It feels like a betrayal. It feels unfair. And you're right, it is unfair. But the math doesn't care about your feelings. The math only cares about your savings rate versus the appreciation rate of assets. If you aren't willing to kill your ego, the system will gladly feed it for you, right up until the day you realize you're 50 years old with a high salary and zero net worth. Take a breath. I know that was heavy. I know it feels like I just told you that your hard work was for nothing. But I want to de-shame you for a moment. If you feel like you're struggling, it's not because you're bad with money. It's because you were given a 20th century map for a 21st century terrain. You were told that a good job equals a good life. In 2026, that's no longer a guarantee. It's just an opportunity to start building. Now that you see the system, now that you see the horizon line and the extraction machine, it can no longer control you in the same way. The gaslighting ends today. You aren't crazy. You aren't bad at adulting. You are a high-earning individual living in an economy that has become hyper-efficient at pricing you out of your own success. Once you admit that, the resentment starts to fade, and existential clarity takes its place. You can stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What can I do with the reality I actually have?" You have a massive advantage. You do have the high income. You have the fuel. Most people are stuck in the trap with no fuel. You, at least, have the 150K. The question is, where are you going to point that fuel? Are you going to keep spraying it into the extraction machine to maintain an image? Or are you going to build a fortress? The choice is yours. And for the first time in this video, I'm going to tell you that it is possible to win. But winning in 2026 doesn't look like the American dream your parents had. It looks like something much quieter, much more intentional, and much more powerful.
If you want to beat the qualified poverty trap, you need 3 weapons. Weapon 1, the mental weapon, or what I call the shadow salary. Stop looking at your $150,000 paycheck. It is a hallucination. From today on, your salary is $75,000. That's it. Everything above that is invisible money that goes directly into assets. Not a savings account where it gets eaten alive by inflation, but into cash-flowing assets or high-yield vehicles. If you can't live on $75K, you aren't priced out.
You are ego-locked. Weapon 2, the immediate weapon, the subscription slash. Go through your bank statement tonight. Every convenience service you pay for is a brick in the wall, keeping you from your home. The Uber Eats, the premium gym, the pro versions of apps you barely use. Kill them all. In 2026, convenience is the luxury of the rich. If you don't own your home, you aren't rich yet. You don't get to buy your time back until you own the ground you stand on. Weapon 3, the systemic weapon, or the geo-arbitrage, or the asset pivot. If the horizon line in your city is moving at 10% a year and you can only save at 5%, stop running on that track. Either move to a market where the math actually works, or stop trying to buy a home and start buying equity. Invest in REITs, buy a smaller property in a different state, or build a business. Stop trying to force the traditional path to work in a non-traditional economy. Here is my checkmate question for you. When the people who won the game can no longer afford to play, what happens to the society that convinced them to try? Think about that, because if the top 10% of earners are feeling the squeeze, the system is reaching a breaking point. You can either be a victim of that break, or you can be the person who saw it coming and moved your money out of the blast zone. The data confirms the math is brutal, but the math doesn't have to be your master. At the end of the day, your salary is just a number. Your legacy is what you keep. We've spent 25 minutes deconstructing the 2026 economy, and if there's one thing I want you to take away, it's this. True wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much of your life is no longer for sale. If you make $150K but you're a slave to your luxury bills, you aren't a success. You're just a well-funded prisoner. Your future self doesn't care about the status you had in 2026. They care about whether or not you gave them the freedom to choose their own path. Don't let the lifestyle extraction machine steal your legacy, one convenience fee at a time. But even as you master this level, as you learn to save and invest and beat the 150K trap, a new, more invisible wall is waiting for you in the shadows, a force that even the wealthiest investors are starting to fear. Next time, we pull back the curtain on the one silent force that destroys even those who follow all the rules, the invisible debt that no one is talking about. Until then, observe the math, realize the trap, admit the truth. I'll see you in the next one.